Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Part von Tangle Tower. Im letzten Part sind wir ein bisschen rumgedümpelt, haben mit Fifi gesprochen. Bin ich wirklich weitergekommen. Und wir werden jetzt auch ein bisschen uns jetzt hier ein bisschen auf die Suche, auf die Hilfe hier so ein bisschen verlassen, weil ich will das nicht unbedingt nachgoogeln. Ich habe jetzt schon, ja, die 3 Rätsel nachgegoogelt und das wäre so gemein. Wir sollen uns den besser angucken.
It's tidier than my desk. Oh, the notebook is untouched. It's completely blank.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank.
Also das hatten wir schon, da haben wir ja das Ding. Wollte ich nicht antitschen.
Every astronomy tower needs a telescope.
I want to try.
Komm. Oh.
You can see right into Flora's room.
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. She's looking up. Behind her is the back side of the easel holding Freya's unfinished painting. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this angle.
It's that little plant Flora keeps on the window ledge.
Don't you think it would fall off? In the wind.
Maybe it's glued down.
It's the tower opposite this one.
Ja, ich wollte nur gucken, ob ich den...
Is that a window?
I think it is.
Is there another room above Flora's room?
Muss ja.
We should check that next time we're over there. It's the tower opposite this one.
Also,
Isn't this supposed to be an astronomy telescope?
ja, ja.
I'm pretty sure you need to see the sky for astronomy to work.
I can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
There's something about Pointer's astronomy habits. Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Okay, da haben wir jetzt seinen Verdacht.
So,
Moment.
Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Oh, go on.
Die sind gar
You're
nicht.
not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
Was erforscht der Professor wirklich?
I don't have time for tiny, insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large and the unimaginably far away.
Right. That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal into another world.
Yeah, about that.
Nähert sich stürzig. Percys Teleskop war ausgerichtet auf den Tatort, nicht auf den Himmel.
Pointer's telescope was actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen. Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around. Both towers and in the gardens too. She was definitely up to something.
So, This next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Wieso Flor?
Flora? You mean Freya?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
This changes your statement, doesn't it?
No, everything I told you in my statement was true.
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
Freya was definitely up to something.
Mhm.
Something to do with the statue in the garden, I think.
Maybe we should go back and check.
Ja, gehen wir mal zum Garten. Auch wenn wir vorher noch zu Dings will. Oh, du bist neu.
This wasn't here before.
Ja.
What is it?
It's a
was
little
auch.
wooden toy. Looks kind of like a crab.
There's a note stuck to the back.
What does it say? Grimoire?
Das ist mein neuer Freund. Er mag Musik. Einfache Melodien erfreuen die Seele. Viel Glück an euch beide. Freya. Okay. Eine Art hölzernes Spielzeug. Eine Lage dunkler Tinte liegt hinter einer Glasschicht.
What do you think? Is it really from her?
How can it be?
Why don't we check the handwriting with Freya's diary?
Good idea. Hold on.
Well,
It's a perfect match.
well, it's confirmed. We have a ghost helping us.
Let's keep this to ourselves for now.
Ja.
What about the little wooden toy thingy?
Maybe we can put it to some kind of use.
Okay, jetzt kriegen wir das mit der Harfe mit. Nicht abgeschlossene Angelegenheiten. Fortfahren. Aber ich bin noch nicht fertig. Wir haben da einen Raum. Und ich möchte ganz gern mir den Raum angucken. In dem wir anscheinend einfach so rein können. Dachboden.
It's a statue of a wolf,
Überhaupt nicht gruselig.
standing up straight, like a man.
You know, there's a name for that.
I know.
It's not quite as dusty as everything else up here.
Hm.
Also, it's not a statue. It's stuffed.
Gruselig.
What is that?
Not sure. Some kind of reel?
Looks like it might attach to something.
Lass mal gucken. Spulendings da. Eine Messingspule, auf der sich eine Schraube befindet. Ein dünnes rotes Seil ist um die Spule befunden. Das heißt, da können wir irgendwas vielleicht später kombinieren.
What's in that little box? I bet it's bones. A skull,
bitte.
at least.
You know, maybe I won't open it.
Mach auf!
Just dusty junk.
It's a jar. The head screws off.
Huh.
Nothing catching my interest.
I'm sorry, is this spooky attic boring you?
Kinda. At least the moths are kept well fed.
Okay, es ging wahrscheinlich nur um die Spule,
Nothing
oder?
catching my interest.
I'm sorry, is this spooky attic...
Kinda.
Okay, okay. So. Dann hätten wir das. Und jetzt müssen wir die Melodien einsammeln. Die erste Melodie ist tatsächlich hier. Das hatte ich ja mit dem Piepmetzen ja schon gemacht. Ne, habe ich euch schon gezeigt. Ich weiß nur nicht, ob ich jetzt das irgendwie... Nee, das ist die Spule. Ich kann auch nicht auf den... Vogelgesang. Okay. Moment. Ich habe ja das Bild, so ist es ja nicht, ne? So, Vogelgesang. Dann hatten wir... Und da muss ich hin. Dann hier war ja die Glocke. Hier ist die Türklingel. Dann hatten wir Poppy mit der Melodie, die uns die ja vorspielt. Poppy. Du musst nochmal für uns spielen, bitte.
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
Hat das jetzt im Prinzip funktioniert? Ja. Klavier. Und das letzte war tatsächlich das Grammophon. Aber diese Spule, ne? Ich glaube, die hier war's.
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune.
Ach, das ist gruselig. Geh mal weg da.
That's all 4 melodies, I think.
So, what do we do with them?
Should we go back to the garden?
Im Garten zurück. Vielleicht ist Freya gar nicht tot, sondern die tut nur so.
Let's try this again.
So.
You know, I think we might be able to solve this now.
Also, die sagt mir, was ich dahin muss. So, ne? Doorbell war das hier. Das heißt, ich muss das Ding suchen. Summ war das. Das heißt, ich muss da das richtige Dings. Nee, du bist das Falsche. Du. Klavier war das. Und Vogelgezwitscher war... Ey, darauf wäre ich ja auch nie gekommen, ne? Das.
That's gotta be right.
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
Ich höre gar nichts. Ich wusste es.
It's full of the same weird
Any
water.
fish in there?
Not a single. Although there is some.
It's a cassette tape. Or it used
Ah, die
to
Kassette
be.
haben wir doch schon. Ich wusste, es war ein
Go
Geheimeingang.
in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to do first.
Da, schließe den Fisch mit Sally, der Tatort. Schließe den Verdacht für alle Verdächtigen auf, okay. Aber Sally ist sie doch. Und der Tatort ist da oben.
That's all the statements collected.
Nee. Der einzige, wo ich jetzt noch keinen Verdachtsmoment habe, ist... Moment mal, vielleicht können wir mit ihm über die Spule reden, weil jetzt haben wir die Spule. Und er ist der einzige, bei dem mir der Verdachtsmoment noch fehlt.
What is it?
We don't know. We were really hoping you would.
My friends, shed your hope and let it fall free like sandbags from a hot air balloon.
That's the most depressing idiom I've ever heard.
Mhm. Okay.
These drawings are quite precious. I'm surprised Flora let you see them.
What happened to the bird? Did it die?
I don't know. Seems likely, though, doesn't it? What's this all about? Some kind of rare jewel?
I'm pretty sure the research is about a real insect.
If it's made of gold, then it's made of gold. Why don't you ask Fiona about that one? Looks like her area of expertise.
Ich komme nicht drauf. Also ich muss... Wir sollten mit Felix reden. Ja, ich bin auch schon bei Felix. Aber... Felix. Spiele mit mir.
My daughter Fiona and her best friend. They grow up so fast.
Do you know why it's ripped like that?
Ah, yes. I didn't even notice. No idea. Oh dear.
Do you know who this is?
Not a clue.
Der verarscht mich doch.
Does Florin normally keep something in here?
She must do, but I admit I've never managed to work out what.
Why not just ask her?
I feel like if somebody keeps something locked away in a ceramic egg, it's because they don't want to be asked about it.
Rules to live by.
Ja, finde ich auch. Vielleicht mit Personen? Ich will nicht sagen, aber...
Percival Pointer. Good old... So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know, maybe. We still need...
That is not information we're willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
How are you related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens. My father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically, that makes her a fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all. There's a family tree in the Grand Hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything at Tangle Tower.
There's something about Felix's painting supplies.
Wir müssen uns auch nochmal den Stammbaum angucken.
Something suspicious.
Let's ask him about it.
Okay, jetzt habe ich die Verdachtsmomente.
So, about this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are you accusing me of?
Das ist nicht ihr
It's not
Farbtopf.
your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's not the end of the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs to.
Etwas, das mit dem roten Farbtopf vergleichbaren könnte.
That almost, but it's not right. Let's take a closer look at this.
Freas blauer Farbtopf ist... Ach nee, warte. Wurde benutzt, um dies zu malen. Ist genau dasselbe wie Felix. Deckel wurde ausgetauscht.
Freya's blue paint pot is exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Nope.
Aber im Prinzip das Symbol ist doch ein ganz anderes. Geht ja um das Symbol. Freas roter Farbstoff wurde gestohlen und ausgetauscht. Felix roter Farbstoff.
Freya's red
Nee,
paint
das macht auch
pot
keinen
was
Sinn.
stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot. But Freya noticed what has happened. Almost. Maybe just...
Ich weiß nicht, so die Symbole würden ja beweisen.
Freya's blue paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot. But Freya noticed what has happened. That's not right.
Wurde zerbrochen durch... Nee, wurde zerbrochen geht gar nicht, weil ich... Wurde zerbrochen, funktioniert schon mal. Ist hiermit... Nee. Wurde genutzt, um dies zu malen. Ist genau der... Er geht nur auf die Farbtöpfe, ne? Nicht auf die Dings. Auf die Logos. Ist genau derselbe wie... Ja, das macht ja gar keinen Sinn.
Freya's red
Nee.
paint pot is exactly the same
Ach,
as
Menno.
Felix's red paint pot and used as the murder weapon. That's not right either.
Freas roter Farbtopf wurde gestohlen und ausgetauscht gegen Felix. Genau, aber die Deckel wurden getauscht.
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
Die rote Farbe war entleert. Davor war da... Nee, enthielt nichts hiervon. Der rote Farbtopf war mit etwas gefüllt. Es war Blut von Freya, schon Wochen. Womit, von Freya, schon Wochen,
This
ja.
red paint pot was somehow filled with blood by Freya several weeks ago. Almost. Maybe just This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood after Freya used it to paint Flora. Almost. Maybe just This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood and emptied out onto the floor. Almost.
Ich glaube, das hier macht schon Sinn, ne?
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely something. Right, fine. Here's the story. I was busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know, perfectly reasonable request.
But she said no.
I tried to explain why I needed it, but she didn't seem to care. So, well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint. I didn't touch anything else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how it got blood in it, if that's what you're asking.
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end. After what happened, seemed a bit insensitive.
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene.
Na dann los. Wieso laufen wir immer so weit weg?
We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
Glaub nicht. Farbe aus dem Tatort wurde ersetzt durch Blut des Farb. Oh. Nee. Die gemalte Tintenklecksfeder sollte folgendem gleichen. Einem echten Messer. Um Beweise zu verbergen. Um Freya abzulenken. Nee. Oh, ich komme nicht drauf. Dies sollte Magie beweisen. Die gemalte Tintenklecksfeder wurde ersetzt durch ein echtes Messer. Um Freya zu erstechen.
Painted ink dip feather was replaced by a real knife, so it could stab Freya. No?
Ach man, Farbe aus dem Farbtopf wurde ersetzt durch Blut des Farbtopfes. Das macht gar keinen Sinn. Dies sollte Magie
Paint from the
beweisen.
paint pot was replaced by blood from the paint pot to prove the existence of magic. That's not right. Paint from the paint pot was replaced by blood from the paint pot to hide the evidence. That's not right either.
Blut des Farbtopfes wurde zum Malen benutzt. Es ließ die gemalte Tintenklecksfeder wie ein blutiges Messer aussehen.
Blood from the paint pot was used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
I
What?
think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question. Why?
Either it's a very strange coincidence, or somebody set it up.
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person who could have hidden the feather, unless someone took it from her.
Let's go over what we do know. The door was locked the whole time. It stayed locked until Fitz kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya did.
Hold on. If there was no knife, then what did stab Freya?
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
How is it not important?
Right now, I'm less interested in the what, and more interested in the how.
Vielleicht
The
ist
angle
Freya
of
gar
Freya's
nicht tot.
wound suggests she was stabbed at a perfect right angle. That is, from directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the canvas.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with a painting.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the painting? Wouldn't that leave a hole?
Okay, well, how about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over? Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated. Are we done?
For now. It's about time we found out what's beneath the garden.
Warte. Ich will noch mal ganz kurz. Felix hat gesagt,
What is
I
that?
think it's a family tree.
Lord Fellow. Ja, doch, ist der Großvater. Okay. Gut. Was sich dann in dem Garten befindet, sehen wir dann im nächsten Part. Ich sage auf jeden Fall Dankeschön. Ich habe jetzt hier alles fertig. Dankeschön fürs Zusehen. Ich hoffe, euch hat der Part gefallen. Wenn ja, dann gebt mir doch einen Daumen nach oben. Oder lasst ein Abo da. Ich würde mich sehr freuen. Und bis dahin sage ich Dankeschön fürs Zusehen. Auf Wiedersehen und bye bye.